Okay, fellas, for today, where I'm trying to take you, based off of the men that I've coached and already got tons of results, and what habits we can begin to implement so that we can achieve your results of getting leaner, losing body fat, building muscle, and getting in hella great shape. A couple of non-negotiables that need to take place every single day though. We got to be within our calorie and our protein target, which we covered in the previous video. We need to get our ass moving more. Steps, 8 to 12K a day. And the sooner you can get on that ruck pack, the better, because that's a small way to increase strength, increase physical demand. You're going to burn a little bit more calories now. Strength training, if it's a scheduled workout day, because we're just talking about daily non-negotiables right now, we got to be tracking our weight because we're looking at the end of each week. On Mondays, when we chart it, we're looking for the weekly average. Got to be charting the sheet. The sheet is there for a reason. Click yes, so we can see the data. That way we're not guessing. And when it comes to our sheet, make sure that you're filling that out. That way we have data and we're not just guessing. And we're going to talk about daily, weekly, and then optimal habits of where we're wanting to go, just so you can get a little bit of a visual of what we're trying to accomplish. Because if you do these things right here, I can already tell you, you're going to be guaranteed to have success. And when we're talking about our weekly objectives, we need to make sure that we're charting our weight so we can see what's working, what's not. And if we're not trending in the right direction, remember that's 0.05 to 2 pounds per week. We have to give this a 2-week time frame to be able to see where we're trending. And if that's the case, we're faced with 2 decisions we have to make. We can either do X or we can do Y. X, how do we lose weight? We increase our activity and or we decrease our calories. So I like to build on your strengths. Are you someone that's moving more and that gives you more energy, or do you want to focus more on nutrition? We will choose one of those 2, improve your activity or decrease your calories by 250. When it comes to your photos, we're doing that once a month so we can actually see how the body recomposition is taking place. And then we got to show up to the coaching calls, ask questions. That way we can make sure you're getting the results you want to be, and that way we can troubleshoot anything that you're struggling with. Now let's talk about habit stacking. Now most programs are going to try to get you to change everything at once, but that's not how real change happens. Now what we do instead is we start small, we master the basics, and we add one habit over time. We don't move on until we've mastered this skill at a high level of compliance, and it almost becomes automatic. So you're getting laser focused on this. It's now a part of your routine. You're doing it at a high level. You're doing it at a high compliance. Then we can add in one thing. You do all these at once. I talk about this over and over again. You'll do it for 3 weeks. You get overwhelmed. You fall off. You don't know what actually works. So you keep doing this cycle. This allows us to say, we're doing this. It led to this result. We're doing these 2 things. It led to this result. And we can build, and all of these things are going to help you move in the right direction, but we're able to check data points on each one to see what's working, what's not. So next, I want to give you an optimal framework of what we should be doing. We're going to make these each tailored to every one of you, but here is a proven plan that if we do these, this is what's going to work. Now, because it's going to be tailored to you, we have to make sure that each one of these fits into your life, but I just want to show you what would be ideal, or maybe you're down here, and then once we get to here, what the following looks like. All right, so let's lay out a sample habit stacking thing. So down in here, we might be focusing on which program you're following. That way, at least you know what workout to be doing based off the time that you have available, what equipment you have, and we have some structure with our workouts. From there, the things that we start prioritizing here, tracking your calories without making 0 change. Don't start saying, well, this is what I've been doing for the last week, for the last 2 weeks. I need to know what you've been doing. Don't make any changes. Keep everything relatively the same. So I have an idea of what your homeostasis, what your body says your baseline is. Your calories and your steps. This will tell us what has led for you to be where you're at right now. From the next week or 2 weeks, we're going to emphasize increasing your protein or hitting your protein goal, which again is 0.85 to 1 gram based off of your activity level and your desired body weight. From there, we have to increase our step count from our baseline. If you were walking 6,000 steps per day, I don't care if you're walking 6, 9, 12, whatever. To lose fat, we've got to increase your activity and decrease your caloric intake. So from here, we're going increase 3 to 5K step count from your baseline. If you can slap on a ruck, I want you to wear a ruck as well. Next thing we're focused on. So we focused on increasing protein, increasing activity. Then we can focus on decreasing small amount, 250 calories from your baseline, because by this point, we've got 2 weeks of data. We know where your calories are at now. Now we know where it's at. We got to take it from here, small deficit on the calories. We need to begin making sure we're prioritizing sleep. I've got an entire massive simplified process on things that we can do to be implementing better sleep to get 7+ hours. I know a lot of you guys are firefighters and first responders, but sleep There's several things that we can do. From here, we need to cycle back and continue to revisit these things, increasing our activity or continue to decrease our calories by 150 to 200 and tracking at a consistent level. And this is what's going to allow us to set up for long-term success by focusing on mastering each one of these before moving on, doing each one of them at a high compliance. I consider that to be 80%. We don't have to be perfect. We're looking for 80% compliance. Your chart is going to light up green each week if you've met that target. And you'll be able to see, if you scroll over from week to week, from month to month, I can see what level of compliance you did on each particular task. No more jumping around trying to stuff all this in. Simplify it. Laser focused on this. This is my target. It becomes automatic. I now have that in the bag. I now figure out how to overcome these obstacles. Then we can move on. Because each one of these things is going to present new obstacles and with new challenges, and we have to figure out how to overcome them, build into a routine and consistency. And we got to think about this like building a house, guys. If you try to put the roof on before the foundation is built, you're going to blow away. Everything will collapse. Your fat loss is the same way, fellas. And when it comes to making progress, and if you don't feel like you're moving in the right direction, here's what you cannot do. You cannot change things too soon, guys. We got to stick to the one thing at a time because it allows us to see what is working. We review the trend, we see how your body is responding both with the weight and with the photos, and we check to make sure that you are doing your part. You're following through at a high level of compliance. Think of this like looking at your bank account. You spent a $10 purchase and you're not checking your bank account every single hour. You're looking at the overall trend, not the daily ups and downs. And that's what we have to do here. We have to make sure we're trending in the right direction. So when we get into this process, laser focused on doing one thing at a time. Trust the process, trust the results will come if you put one foot in front of the other. And when we start to talk about plateaus and when you start to feel stuck, just remember that fat loss isn't a straight line. You're gonna have weeks where the scale doesn't move. That doesn't mean that the plan isn't working. We just have to make adjustments. And what do? What's our priorities? We look at calories, we look at protein, we look at our steps, we look at our compliance. If you're doing all of these things at an extremely high level of 80% plus compliance, we gotta do two things. What are they? Nutrition or activity. We gotta cut your calories by 150 to 250. We gotta increase your step count 2 to 4K. And the reason why we do step count is because we're trying to do low intensity stuff because that is where you use your fat as fuel. If we start doing high intensity stuff, you'll typically end up overeating and your body crashes because you're in a deficit. You try to do that higher intensity stuff, you're gonna feel really weak, you're gonna feel lethargic, you're not gonna have enough energy, and you're gonna end up overeating. And if you feel like you're doing all of these things right, we gotta look at the photos, we gotta look at the data, and we gotta look back on where you've come. Stay consistent, because I can tell you what, if you step up to the batting plate and you knew that every pitch was coming right down the pipe, I can't guarantee that you're gonna hit a home run every time. But if you don't continue to step up to the bat and take cuts, you're never gonna know. So continue to keep swinging. Or the same thing like when you're driving a car. If you're not seeing progress, you don't just slam on the brakes. You make a slight adjustment, you put a little bit of pressure on the brake, make adjustments, and you stay on the course. And ultimately, guys, if you feel stuck, don't continue to try to do this on your own. Show up to the coaching calls, ask for help, and we're gonna work together with you. And I can tell you that if you commit to this, it will work. Not because you feel like it's working, but because the data is gonna show you, and it's gonna feel freaking good.